Listen, if President Biden is watching TV right now, you might want to turn it off for the next 3 minutes because the latest Fox News poll.
Look at Tom Shalhoub.
The latest Fox News poll revealing the majority of voters are not satisfied with the direction America is heading.
Yep, and that could make all the difference in the world in 2024, as more than a third of voters are calling the economy their most important issue.
Yeah, and to top it all off, his approval numbers are slipping behind Vice President Kamala Harris.
That's so embarrassing. Peter Doocy is live at the White House. That may be the best news for the president. Peter.
And we keep hearing from people here at the Biden White House, they think the economy has improved because they compare it to when they took over, peak COVID. But this new Fox News poll shows just 14% are saying that they feel helped by President Biden's economic policies. 46% in the Fox poll say those policies have hurt them. And that's got 78% of those surveyed by Fox saying the economy is in bad shape. The pollsters could only find 21% who say that economic conditions are positive right now. The White House needs that number to improve in an election year, but 44% are guessing the economy is going to get worse in 2024. 22% believe it'll get better. Who's ultimately getting the blame for this? The top of the Democratic ticket, according to Monmouth University, President Biden's 34% approval rating is a tick lower than Vice President Harris's 35%.
The average American is not really benefiting economically. People are really saddened about what things are going on. Because of that, the Biden administration is in trouble.
The prices were through the roof, and when I sat down and looked at what they're telling me, inflation was 6%, 8%, 10%. I roughly say for me it was about 35%.
Seeing a tuition increase at my university of 10% in the past 3 years has been really hard, on top of growing food prices and gas prices. Again, especially New York City has definitely been a challenge.
And I know this firsthand. Anytime the President Biden is confronted with these bad poll numbers in public, he says that we're looking at the wrong polls. But there is no cherry picking here. The trend for him is negative. Back to you.
So, Peter, we're learning also that the president privately has been confronting his staff about the polls.
Yeah, he thinks it's their fault. But you go back to this summer, and I was looking at some polls before the war in Israel broke out, and at the time, all the major pollsters were asking voters what their top issue was, and about 3/4 of people were saying it's age or that they have a problem with President Biden. At 81 right now, so, they have concerns with him serving a second term, and so the age issue has not gone away, and if anything, it's just gotten 2 or 3 months worse for these people. And so President Biden is up in the residence. They are putting their heads together, trying to figure out what exactly they can do to make things better. That conversation apparently happened the day of the turkey pardoning. We have not seen a big course correction since.
Do you think the turkey pardoning was a bad move in retrospect?
My understanding is that in the next wave of when the next cabinet secretary leaves, they are going to try to elevate one of the turkeys.
Very good.
Senate confirmable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the Senate. I don't know if you guys have heard. And so easy to confirm a turkey.
We've heard, yeah.
Hey, so Peter,
and we've seen
all the polls show that he is so underwater on the economy, and yet they continue to put up that stupid Bidenomics sign. Bidenomics as a term is not working for this White House. When are they going to have a course correction and fire some people and just say, you know what, we brought in some new blood, take a look, and now look at this, Joe will get a makeover?
No time soon, because the next policy thing on his schedule is tomorrow. He's going to go to Milwaukee for an event promoting Bidenomics.
Wow.
So,
So tone deaf.
Thanks, Peter. Maybe I'll bring you.
When you think about it, though, guys, I see why he's upset with the staff about this. Yeah. They've been driving this White House agenda from the very beginning. So the president's doing whatever the staff says. I mean, it's widely reported that this is more of a staff-driven White House. Mm-hmm. And it's not working for the American people. So he's saying, guys, I did what you said. Explain it away. At least sell it to the American people.
Yeah. I mean, these poll numbers are so bad. And I read that the Biden administration was ditching the Bidenomics phrase because it was viewed as tone deaf and out of touch.
Right.
So maybe they'll start to pick a new phrase so that people can forget Bidenomics. But even among Democrats, it says all voters dissatisfied with how things are going in the U.S. All voters, 68% are dissatisfied. 47% of Democrats as well.
So a couple of things. I'm reading some of these Democratic pollsters, and especially this one that James Carville and Stanley Greenberg, two Democrats, put together. And they said the problem is that Joe Biden keeps saying things are improving and people aren't there. You have to start with the message, we get it. We get it. We understand it. They say because if you look at the factors that are we experience supply chain problems, rising energy costs. First, it was related to the Russian invasion, at least they claimed it. Then the surging migration that we see. We see the wars have split the Democratic Party, political unrest, which is a daily occurrence. And when you come out and say things are great, look how good I'm doing, and they don't feel it, then they get mad at you. Well, so we start using the terms, we get it. I'm there. Here's what I'm doing. That's what, if anyone would listen to this pollster, who are Democratic pollsters. So I think that Joe Biden is somebody who should be a leader. You don't blame your staff, but you have all this experience.
That's what all the bosses
do. What
do.
about your instinct?
Well, all the surrogates are doing the same exact thing. If you watch them on the other stations, they're saying, look, the American people just don't get it. If you look at it, then they'll throw up all these graphs trying to prove to the American people on why things are better for them.
Well, because when you look at the numbers look better than they did, but people don't feel it. The Monmouth poll came out yesterday, and one of the guys who did that said there is a political danger in pushing a message that basically tells people that their own situation is wrong.
Yeah.
They feel like, hey, I don't have as much in my wallet as I used to. They're not wrong about that. They just don't feel these numbers. And the problem for the president is he's surrounded by people who work for him.
That's right.
They want to keep their jobs they want to keep the jobs for another 4 years. And what they keep telling him is, you beat Donald Trump last time, but it was a much different time. Yeah. There was COVID. The current president was in his basement. He didn't go out. And now, 4 years later, all the staff is saying is Joe Biden has always beaten expectations. Yeah. But the problem is inflation is going to derail his presidency unless they have a reset. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.